around. Things begin to turn around because we have two ministers in the Ministry of Energy, and let me recognize in his absence, who has been working with us assiduously behind the scene and in front of the scene, the Honorable Rudal Munilal, Minister of Energy, all in effort to make this place a better place. And of course, well, I will leave the announcement for the minister, who would make some announcements along the issue of the refinery and the issue of the medical plan. And I'll come back and I'll talk about a bit about the pension plan and some other things. But let me say, come on. The worst thing you can do to a union as you attack that union is, one, try to decertify the union. Where the union would have gone through a process to be the recognized majority union to represent workers wherever. And through that long process, gain recognized majority union status. The worst thing you can do is to remove recognition from that union. The worst thing you could also do is to remove that union from a workplace. Remove that union from representing workers in the particular sector. And so, when they divided up Petrotrin, after shutting it down into what is now Paria, Heritage, Guaracara Refining, and Guaracara, can you imagine that Guaracara Refining nothing for 7 years? The other one is TPHL and Petrotrin Legacy. None of those companies have OWTU representation in them. Because the issue of successorship, they ensured that that did not happen. That's one of the things. They ensured that that did not happen. And of course, the minister will make an announcement around that regard. But my point, that one of the greatest atrocities you could do to a union or two is to remove them from the workplace, not have them represent workers, and of course, remove majority union status. So this afternoon, comrades, as we recognize this seventh year is a year of a difference. They say the number 7 is a significant number. Very, very significant number. It's a different 7 years. And when we, not too long from now, when in passing here, light that flare and start back up those plants, begin to produce once again fuel for this country and export. It will be one of the greatest days since independence in '62 for Trinidad and Tobago. And that is coming. And so to make those announcements here this evening, I want to call on, permit me and join me in welcoming to the microphone in this 7th year of shutdown, this 7th year of suffering to Trinidad and Tobago by Keith Rowley and his government. But on the 7th year, rescue mission started. Join me in welcoming Comrade Ernesto Kesar to the microphone.
It's the commitment of the government of Trinidad and Tobago and led by our Prime Minister, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Kesar, SCMP, to sit with the stakeholders, which will be Heritage, Petrotrin Legacy, the Ministry of Health, and also the OWTU, and to come up with, in the shortest possible time, a clear plan to have these centers reopen And we're hoping within the next 6 months, and again media, put hoping, in front of words please, put hoping, we're hoping within the next 6 months to have these centers reopened and accessible to Petrotrin workers and their families. Now, in closing, President General, in closing, Chairman, that's it for announcements. I ain't talking. Although I'm going to talk somebody refinery. I can only talk what I'm advised. You see, comrades, all in are setting me up. I lost my work twice already. Going make me lose my work again. Nevertheless, but to be more on a more serious note, right? I've been advised that this upcoming weekend, this week, the final report will be forwarded to the cabinet, and that the OWTU, this is my advice, the OWTU remains a key partner in the refinery restart process. I must say that again in case I was opening your fridge, closing your fridge. I must say that. I must say that. You see, I know there are those they want evil rather than good. You could imagine, brothers and sisters, there are persons in this country who don't want this refinery to reopen. You could imagine that, right? You can imagine there may be OW, who knows, persons who used to be former workers. They don't want this refinery to open back up. Right? You can imagine there are persons that don't want those offshore locations to be repaired so that there are no more oil spills and so on. You can imagine, brothers and sisters, and this is a fact, one of the first set of things that the board had to deal with when they came into office, when they were appointed, is to deal with work from home. Brothers and sisters, you have senior managers.
Finally, and if you didn't read it, good things was said here this evening. Good people say it. Yeah. But the comrade couldn't be his son's responsibility. I agree with him. But you know, between us always interpreting correct, eh? And you know that. All right. Finally, I just want to make an announcement here this evening that as of the 22nd of this month, November, former Prime Minister, he's Christopher Rowley, former, never ever to come back, Prime Minister, never ever. Yes, and the PNM, none of them in any kind of incarnation would be allowed to return, but serve with a legal notice in the High Court of Trinidad and Tobago, a statement of claim for defamation against the character of the President General of the Oilfields Workers. We tried to find him for about how long? For months we tried to find him. We can't find him. We're looking for him all about. We even had to ask him to pull. If they know which part he is. And finally on the 22nd, he was served. He was found. And what he was served for? We will have a special press conference to deal with this issue. But what he was served for? He was served for defaming defamation of the President General's character on social media on the 22nd of August, I think it was, August 2022. And that issue had to do with the blocking of the road, the highway. Remember that? Yeah. All of those bleeding hearts now, who talking about workers? It was August and it was in the August holiday. Back then, they shut down the scrap iron industry. And the scrap iron industry workers and their families couldn't get what? Couldn't get anywhere to take care of to provide books and so on, and uniform to send their children to school. They shut down the industry. And who stood in defense of those people? The Oilfields Workers Trade Union stood in defense of them and called for the reopening of that industry. So when the road was blocked, could find nobody else to blame than the President General of the Oilfields Workers. I don't even know how to do that. But the President General of the OWTU. And we said that we're not taking that issue lightly. Nobody, he like to put people in court when they say thing wrong about him. Well, let him find his backside in the court and answer the statement of claim, because we're not allowing that issue to go at all, at all, at all. So for the PNM people, I wouldn't say sorry for you, I'm glad what happened to you, and we had to make sure that you never come back again. Remember, last year, it was last 2 Labor Days, we took the position that we're not going to symbolically call for them to go, but we actually burned them. That's a serious thing, you know. We actually burned the photograph of Keith Rowley, Stuart Young, and Imbut, the 3 people who were leading the charge against the OWTU. And true to form, God answer our prayers and look where they are now. And you see, burning them is important. Eh? When you bury them, they could come back. And make sure you cremate them. We cremated them on Mosquito Creek. We cremated them in Port of Spain. We cremated them right at the old Paramount building. And so that is the end of the PNM. We must ensure that this country never, ever, 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 ever see the rise of the People's National Movement. Comrades,